they move over to empathy. So these are mechanisms of control for...
That would be a mechanism of a sociopathic female, yes.
But haven't you demonstrated all of those traits today?
I would say I had to cycle through the toxic version of those things, and I arrived back on a genuine presentation of femininity.
But you started...
I have just been simply responding to your toxic masculinity that you've been putting on me. So I've been trauma responding with toxic femininity, yes. It's a protective measure.
So then you were acting in a way which you consider to be sociopathic?
No, because I wasn't being manipulative with my emotions, but I will admit to intentional aggression against you, yes. But my crying, and when you touched points of me that made me cry, I wasn't trying to invoke any sort of empathy in you, as clearly you don't have any, and you've stated that many times, and you don't care how I feel.
I never stated that I don't have empathy.
So that was not for you. That was just me trying to literally, in real time, process my own trauma so I could move forward with the conversation.
Well, you can agree that, and I would agree with you too, that empathy is important. But you would have to agree with me that sometimes people will utilize empathy as a weapon.
True.
In order to get you to respond a certain way through manipulation. True. So when you say, well, wait a second, Andrew, respond to me this way, right? And I'm going to present myself this way, which looks very manipulative, and then say, well, wait a second, you're not responding with empathy, so therefore you're a sociopath, something like this. Isn't that kind of textbook manipulation?
Andrew, it can be whatever you need me to say to move along with the conversation. I consent so we can move along.
Okay, so you're just going to admit then that you've been being extremely manipulative this entire time?
Well, that's what you want, correct?
Well, I mean, I want you to tell the truth. That's what I want.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I don't agree with you.
Well, I mean, so you can read my mind? I really do. This would have been a really productive conversation. You should go back and look at all of the debates I've done on here, one-on-one. They've always been super respectful, and they've really gone places which are good places to go. This one has just literally been a fucking...
Then why are you still here? Why are you still here talking to me?
Because I still think perhaps I can get to some kind of worldview which we can discuss. I can still hope that, whether we will or not. But if you're just going to obstruct every time we get somewhere, which is productive because you might have to take responsibility, that's no good.
So I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't.
No, you're just damned if you don't. If you're damned if you refuse to engage, right?
Jorge donated $100. Let's be clear. She didn't win custody of her kids. She's holding them hostage from their dad.
Okay. Anyway. So yeah, that's I just, I want to get into the aspects because you're kind of a master, right? Doesn't it even stand to reason that if you're a master in psychology and you are an expert in psychology, that you would also be an expert in employing manipulation tactics and psychological tricks in order to get people to empathize with your position?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that's true, there's no reason for me to assume that you haven't been doing that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I suppose also to Andrew's point, there's been multiple times throughout the conversation where we were talking about the white supremacy stuff. We were talking about your accusations of woman hating. And instead of engaging, you would just be like, nope, not talking about it. Don't want to talk about it. So I think that's what he's talking about.
I'm trying to keep my nervous system regulated so I can keep having a conversation without crying.
Okay. All right. Well,
what is the... I know that you can't always explain this, but what is the motivation behind the crying? Is it because you feel bad?
It's because my heart feels broken in certain moments, and that's all I know how to move forward from that position, is to release it. If I try to hold on to it, it turns into something ugly. So crying is actually a protective measure to keep me from attacking you in a way that would be mean and malicious. I would rather just take in the pain, release it, and then see if I can regather myself to continue the conversation, or see if it's just done and I just need to leave.
Well, I think we can continue the conversation. Maybe we can get in a place where both of us have some common ground, right? I have kids, just like you do. With my kids...
Biological?
Yeah.
How
Biological.
How old are they?
So the youngest is, well, I don't even want to get into their ages, and there's reasons why, but because I have people who are not good people who will weaponize.
So you know how it feels.
Do all sorts of, yeah, I've never weaponized your kids against you ever.
No, I'm saying though, but that is what happened because of the last show,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm in a tough spot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't.
Because my kids got weaponized
Yeah, but
because of the show.
But I can't, I'm not responsible for that.
I'm not saying that you are,
Yeah.
but I am saying that the places that you're leading me are subjecting me and thus my mothering to
Well, I'm not.
things that are very traumatic for my children.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to do that. That wasn't the example.
And I
was-
see
yeah.
the allowance of comments coming in still about my children, about CPS, about child abuse, about me being an abuser. And I explicitly asked
I get the same comments.
I understand that, but I am actually in a active case because of this exact
I've had
thing.
my house swatted 4 times.
Okay, I get it.
No, you don't get it. I've had my house swatted 4
I've
times.
had my
the
house swatted
police-
too.
Had the police called on me multiple
Same,
times.
same.
All for expressing an opinion, just like you.
Same.
We're in the same boat. If you're going to be
Okay.
a public figure, you're going to risk offense. And if you risk offense, sometimes crazy people are going to do bad things to you.
That's not my criticism. My criticism is that I did not know that that's what I was getting myself into when I came to the last show. I did not know that that's what I was getting myself into. I genuinely didn't. I was under the impression that I was coming to a dating podcast just to discuss amongst other people like what's going on in the dating world. That's literally all I thought.
Why would you assume that people would be less likely to have strong emotional opinions about dating than they do anything else?
I guess I was sheltered. I didn't.
Yeah, people have strong emotional opinions about everything from politics to dating to interpersonal relationships. They have strong opinions about circumcision. They have strong opinions about everything. And if you don't have right think, there's always going to be people who disagree with you and are going to try to do bad things.
I feel as if the explicit animosity towards me as a mother and my children was very
It's not coming from
extreme.
us.
But
Not
you're the
coming from
ones.
us.
You're the ones that allow the comments or not.
They're third parties.
You remind people that there's certain trigger things and things that are so toxic you don't allow it. So therefore, I know you have a censoring process. Yet you're still letting these comments
they
come
come in automatically.
So there's no censoring process.
So what happens is keywords which would affect the algorithm get censored. That's what he's talking about with toxic comments. So you notice how comments are coming through that have particular slurs which are quite vicious towards women. Those get filtered out. But saying generalized statements like, "Oh, I think this woman is a bad mother," you can't really do much about those. If you're going to put yourself on the internet at all and put yourself as a public figure, you are going to risk offending people, and they are going to sometimes you're going to have bad actors who will do horrible things. I tend to try my hardest to ignore that myself because I've had people do fucking horrible things to me. Horrible. And the thing is I don't hold, even my haters, I don't even hold them responsible because most of my haters aren't so insane that they would take it to that level.
Jessica Reloaded donated $100. You are responsible for yourself and what happened on the last show. Take accountability for yourself. Why come back if you felt unsafe? Did you not research the show before you came on the first time?
I didn't. That's correct.
Well, hold on there. Nick, could you pull up layer 6? So this is your very first message to us, requesting to be on the show back May 30th of 2024. You're going to have to put this in the corner. That's fine. Go ahead. If you want to read it, you can. You can read it back to yourself.
I don't have my glasses. I can go get my glasses.
Okay.
I can't see it.
Maddie, can you read it?
Yeah. A friend referred me to you guys to join your podcast for a very interesting episode on how I basically solved all of world problems simply by flipping the script of the patriarchy and going back to a system where women do the choosing. I am a savant, social scientist, OnlyFans model, and a good old American-made single mom of 3 trying to get my bills paid out here in a man's world. I could really use some exposure to bring in money, and it's just a super interesting topic that I could go on about as it's near and dear to my heart.
I mean, so you reached out to us.
So that's what I thought that I would be discussing.
You did discuss that.
But, I mean, the show...
I thought it would be respected.
What would be respected?
My views.
Well, we have a panel of people who will provide pre-show notes, some of the topics that they request to speak on. If it's pertinent to the theme of our show, we'll bring it up. We did bring up quite a bit of some of the things you discussed. Were you under the impression it was going to be a one-on-one interview?
Yeah.
That's not possible.
I didn't know that it was a panel show.
I mean, every single clip.
I didn't watch any of the clips. I honestly didn't know anything about the show, and I do take responsibility.
That's entirely on you.
I know, I understand.
On the very Instagram that you sent us a DM to requesting to be on the show, there are clips on that Instagram. We don't post a bunch. There are clips indicating that it's a panel show. There's multiple people on the panel.
Again, I take responsibility.
You can watch full live streams.
I take responsibility. I literally didn't.
We don't hide anything with this show. I mean, I don't remember it was a 7 or 8 hour show. I don't remember everything that was talked about. We talk about various things dating related.
Well, she was able to. You did bring up the idea of patriarchy, the reversal, how you're living in a man's world. You brought up a ton of very interesting psychological ideas. You brought up a lot. It just seems to me like every time you were challenged on them. So what it looks like from my perspective is that I don't mind talking about these ideas. I think that it's fun to talk about ideas like that. But I have noticed this trend and pattern of women who, if their ideas get challenged, they get really upset to the point where they begin to think that they are personally being attacked rather than the idea they're espousing. And they can't make the delineation between the two. The idea which I'm saying and the me, which one is actually being attacked here. And I think it's fine to attack ideas without personally attacking the person.
Do you understand that men and women are not built the same?
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of the problem is I wasn't even designed to have a debate with you.
Were you designed to be in politics?
No.
Were you designed to be in leadership roles? Were you designed to vote? Were you designed to pick the government which is going to rule people? Were you designed for any of that?
No.
Well, then why? So then women probably shouldn't participate in any of those avenues, right?
Let me clarify. I was designed to take a leadership role, yes. I do not believe that divine humanity was made to have a government. I don't believe that American governmental structure is divine. I believe that's man-made.
Yeah, perhaps it is, but I guess kind of the point and core here is if you think that men and women are different, I agree. Totally agree.
Now the thing is that men no longer protect women. It's not divine masculinity.
I get it, but let me finish my point, and then I'll back to you. If it is true that you think that women are different than men, and I agree that they are, and that women aren't even equipped to have their ideas challenged, they're not actually even equipped to have their ideas challenged. Why in the fucking world would we ever let them lead a dog down the street?
No, you're misinterpreting it. We were not designed to have a man who does not love and respect us. So, for example, you don't know me from anybody. You don't have any emotional connection to me. Mm-hmm. You don't have any depth of understanding of who I am as a being. So therefore, I wasn't made to hold you accountable, or you weren't made to hold me accountable. You don't even know me. Your own wife should be holding you accountable and putting you in your place if you need that. Just like the men that know me in my life, that, let's just say we have a soul connection, those were the only men that I was designed
Chris
to actually...
donated $100. She wasn't designed to admit when she is wrong. This is her real issue. She can't take an L and admit fault and will lash out. Put a 1 in the chat if you think her children should be taken away. Crazy.
We don't condone some of the messages that are coming through, by the way.
Anyway, go on.
Thank you for the TTS, though.
We're not operating in a world right now that is going by the rules of divine humanity. Shit's fucked up. So I am simply a woman trying to survive this.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm also saying that all the actions that you take are interconnected with the actions of the rest of humanity, which do affect my life, like it
True.
or not.
Yeah.
It does affect my life.
True.
And so if you to say to me, like, look, Andrew, there needs to be an interpersonal relationship for correction, it's like, that's fair. But there is an interpersonal relationship for correction because, unfortunately, the millions who think like you affect me. Whether I like it or not, they still affect my life.
I have never met anybody who thinks like me.
Yeah, but the thing is that women have political power. Women can move political goalposts. They can.
But are they actually
They can do those
feminine
things.
embodiments, or are they just masculine embodiments
They're
in
feminine
a vagina?
embodiments if they believe that having any of their worldviews challenged, is an assault on them because their feelings must be validated instead of the idea. That is very feminine in nature. That is not, that seems to be more in line with how women think than men think by your own admission. So if that's true, why are we allowing them to ever have a say against men who don't think that way?
Well, because there has to be this dance between the emotional part of being human and the structural or logical
agree.
part of being
Yep,
human.
I
And
agree.
so men and women were designed to offer this flow with each other. Okay, that's why feminine energy or women, that's why we have this magnetism to us that men crave, because we're so good at channeling the emotions of everything that's going on around us. And
Lol Paladins donated $100. I don't believe that she has an active custody case. She's under so many multiple layers of manipulation that I believe she would come here and lie just about it, prevent people from reporting her.
Look, it's not a good idea. Even if you thought she was the worst person on planet Earth, it still wouldn't be a good idea. If you take kids from anybody's home, even if you were able to do it, they almost always have worse outcomes. Even if you left them in a home which was abusive, they still almost always have worse outcomes. Not a good idea. Don't do it, and don't push for it. It's not a good idea. It's a bad look for the show in general anyway. Anyway, go ahead.
thank you for
Yeah, I'm
supporting
not.
it.
That's not what I'm at. I'm literally just here to discuss the things in your head. That's it. Just the things that are inside of your noodle. And so that's why I started the entirety of our conversation saying, look, I want to tell you what my worldview is and get yours so that you understand what's in here, and then I understand what's up there. And then from there, we can have some kind of conversation about those things.
Join us over at the Crucible.video. Crucible.video, become a member over there. $15 a month for access to it all.